Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. Tony. A naked man in Colorado broke into a police cruiser, took it for a joyride.
I'm Tony Kornheiser. I'm still not sure how I got to Colorado. I don't remember that.
All these stories are either AI or they're, a takeoff on a Florida man, and I don't believe
I think they're real. I think they're all real. I think the Florida man, I think all of these are real, and I don't really understand your insistence that they're not real, but okay.
Don't believe
Welcome to
a single one
PTI,
of them.
boys and girls. In today's episode, the Chicago Bears threaten to move to Indiana. Another college quarterback enters the portal, and Booger McFarland joins us to break down this weekend's college football playoff games. But we begin today with tonight's Thursday night game, a really good one. The Seahawks hosting the Rams. The Rams are 11-3. Currently are the number one seed in the NFC. Seattle is also 11-3, and at the moment is the number one wild card. 5 weeks ago, these teams met in LA, and the Rams won 21-19, intercepting Sam Darnold 4 times. Wilbon, what is at stake for each team?
The number one seed, a division championship, more than likely, although the Rams schedule is so easy, you can just sort of paint theirs in, and a better road to deeper in the playoffs. I don't want to say Super Bowl, but that's what we're talking about, Tony. These are the two teams that sort of hold all the cards right now. And I know that at the trade deadline, I said I thought that Seattle was going to win and be the number one seed in the National Football Conference. Well, that's at stake. That's what's at stake tonight. And so even though, they've got a harder path. So I think that Sam Darnold holds all of Seattle's cards. He can't go out there and get picked off multiple times. But Seattle, and I know you remember that game because you did pick the Rams to win that game. Seattle nearly won that game despite Sam Darnold's performance on a last-second field goal. They damn near did. So I got Seattle. I got Darnold playing a lot better, and I got Seattle winning at home tonight against the Rams.
So I'm not going to disagree with any of that. And you know that I have the Rams in the Super Bowl. And I believe that the Rams are the best team in the NFL right now, but I'm not sure I like them tonight. Because as you say, they intercepted Darnold 4 times. And at home, still only won by 2 points. And there was a 61-yard field goal that didn't make it. But if it had, Seattle was going to win that. So it just doesn't feel like they can do that again. Mike, we have spent this whole year, if we isolate on a team that we think is a really good team in week A, that team seems to always lose in week B. I could go through Detroit. I could go through Green Bay, Philadelphia, Buffalo. Some people thought New England. I think this maybe it's the Rams' turn to be in that box and lose. I mean, their second best receiver, Devontae Adams, who is a touchdown machine. He's got 14 touchdowns.
I don't think
he's got a bad hamstring. His status is unclear. And the other part is Seattle, I think, is the loudest venue in the league that's outdoors. The Rams haven't heard anything like that. So even though I think the Rams are a better team, I don't like them tonight.
Big game.
I don't. I really don't.
Cool game tonight.
Yeah, let's move to a story that has your name all over it, Wilbon. It's about the Chicago Bears maybe becoming the Indiana Bears, on the verge of their most important home game in years, hosting the Packers Saturday night, a game you went to Chicago to see in person.
That's right, I'm here.
The president of the Bears, your good friend Kevin Warren, your boy, said the Bears are looking into the possibility of a new stadium in Indiana. Wilbon, how do you feel about the timing of this?
You see the clock up there, it says 1:30 or so and ticking down. You can bring that down to about 6 seconds. The Bears are not going to ever have their home games played in. They're never going to move to Indiana. Never. Did I stumble? Did I stammer? Never going to play in Indiana. I don't care about this. They announced they were going to play on the lakefront. They had renderings I could show you. Oh, wait, they're not on the lakefront yet. That building is not being constructed. Oh, wait, the McCaskey family bought all the land in Arlington Heights, and they're going to move to Arlington Heights, and it's been announced to Arlington Heights, but they're not playing there yet. And now this is politics. This is the second most political city, Chicago, in the country, behind Washington. I live in both. The Bears, let me say it one more time for people on the West Coast, are never moving to Indiana. You got that?
You took a lot more than 15 seconds. You said
Well, we had
15
to fill.
seconds, and you went.
We
a
had
lot.
to fill.
All right. I don't know what to say about this because the Chicago Bears, to me, are the Chicago Bears.
Yeah,
They've been there for 100 years. The governor of Illinois basically said, what is going on here?
Of course.
I mean, I could understand if you were moving out of the city of Chicago to something nearby in the state of Illinois. But Indiana is another state, right? I have my geography right. That's another state.
Yeah, but it's closer than Arlington Heights. The site in Indiana is I can walk there from where I grew up. It's not about geography. They're not playing in Indiana.
You can't have it in another state. You cannot have it in another state. We had the same thing where I'm sitting in Washington, D.C. last year, where Ted Leonsis attempted to move the Wizards and the Capitals to Virginia, out of the capital of the United States of America. And he announced that while he was in negotiations with the District of Columbia, right? At that time, I used the word villainous. I can't believe you don't feel the same thing about this, that it isn't villainous.
No, because it doesn't matter. It's not villainous. I understand people need leverage. People need to do what they need to do to get the wheels turning, to threaten this group, to make that group move quicker. Listen to me. This story, which is getting a lot of run here in Chicago, it's a non-story because it ain't happening. Okay? Just like I told you
in
that
Washington,
night. That was never going to happen.
In
they
Washington,
weren't leaving Washington,
right
and you
now,
and I knew that.
In Washington right now, they're moving the football team back in,
Of
inside
course.
the line, and people are
they
rejoicing as a result of that.
As it should be. Okay? I'm not even sure Arlington Heights. I don't believe that. Now, let's turn to something that matters. College football and the growing number of quarterbacks hitting the transfer portal. Missouri's Bo Pribula is now heading into it, joining Nebraska's Dylan Raiola, Florida's DJ Lagway, and Cincinnati's Brendan Sorsby. Heisman Trophy winner Fernando Mendoza, he was a transfer, as you remember. As was runner-up Diego Pavia. Tony, USA Today's Matt Hayes wonders whether the quarterback carousel now rivals the coaching carousel. What do you think?
Does it rival it? No, it's left it in the dust. Are you kidding me? The last three Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks were all transfers. Mendoza's a transfer, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams. Before that, Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, they were all transfers. The three quarterbacks who were finalists for the Heisman this year, all transfers, Mendoza, Pavia, and the kid from Ohio State, Sayin. The last three coaches to win the national championship, Ryan Day basically came up the system in Ohio State. Jim Harbaugh didn't transfer from another college. He came in from the pros. And Kirby Smart, I don't think, was a head coach before he got the Georgia job. So, no, there are hundreds, maybe thousands of people in the transfer portal. The college stuff, this was an anomaly year. This was a freak year because all those coaches, big-name coaches, were fired in the middle of the season. It doesn't touch the quarterbacks.
The college quarterbacks all transfer. Who gives a damn? 80% of them transfer.
Well, Indiana cares. They
all transfer. They all do, so it doesn't matter.
Indiana cares.
Let me tell you about a coaching. Let me tell you about two guys that could be on the coaching carousel, or two schools that could be in the coaching carousel after tonight. Okay? Because when Alabama loses to Oklahoma, let me say it again. When Alabama loses to Oklahoma, the coach of Alabama, half the people in the state will want to run him out, and he'll be on a carousel. Oh, wait, that's a G5 being flown to Ann Arbor, Michigan, where he has said, oh, no, I ain't got no interest in that. He'll have interest later tonight. And then Alabama will be in the coaching carousel.
Tomorrow night.
They'll be tomorrow. They'll be looking for a coach.
There's 20 here.
Friday,
it's tomorrow.
Friday, who cares?
Right.
The Alabama
coach to see you're not angry
is going to have
that you're calm.
A job on the line situation in 24 hours and then headed to Michigan once he loses. And then Alabama's looking, then what are you going to say?
This is your anger is voluminous. It is. Let's take a break. Coming up, should Alabama He favored Oklahoma over Oklahoma in Norman tomorrow night. We'll ask Booger McFarland the team he favors.
Yeah.
Obviously, Wilbon doesn't think so.
Just told you who's going to win. We'll also ask him if either Tulane or James Madison has a chance of pulling off an upset Saturday. I'm angry because of this stupid Indiana story. It's stupid.
We've got football questions for our great friend who has chosen to celebrate part of his birthday talking to two old Muppets. ESPN, NFL, and college football analyst Booger McFarland wearing a shirt from Preston Trails in Dallas. Let's start with this. The college playoff kicks off tomorrow night. Oklahoma beat Alabama at Alabama early this season. And yet, until today, I think Alabama was favored in this game. They're not right now. Do you see the Sooners as having the edge again the second time around?
Yeah, I don't know if the Sooners have the edge, and I think I can understand why Alabama is favored. I think, the odds makers and the bettors look at Alabama's offense, and the ceiling has been higher for the offense of Alabama. When you talk about Ty Simpson, Jeremy Bernard, Ryan Williams, that offense has been really explosive. Now, I know Alabama can't run the football, but they're going to be going against the best part of the Sooners team, which is their defense. And I think if you're a bettor or you're an odds maker, you're looking at the Sooners offense, and man, they've been abysmal ever since John Mateer broke his thumb in the Red River rivalry against Texas. The offense really hasn't looked the same. So am I surprised? Not really. And if you also remember the last time they played in Tuscaloosa, Alabama turned the football over 3 times, Tony. One of them was a pick six. So can you really count on getting 3 turnovers from Alabama again? I don't know. I'd probably favor Alabama again. Also, I think their ceiling is a little bit higher than Oklahoma, although we've seen one thing in these playoffs. Home field advantage does matter. It's going to be an amazing scene in Norman, Oklahoma tomorrow night.
Okay, so we go from tomorrow night, Booger, to a super Saturday of football from dawn till midnight, it seems, starting with Miami heading to Texas A&M. You see a clear-cut advantage for one or the other?
Texas A&M has been the better team all season long. When you look at what they've done, Mike Elko has done a fantastic job. Marcel Reed, Casey Concepcion, Mario Craver, it's a very explosive team. I think the issue for Texas A&M is going to be what happens if Miami plays to their ceiling. Because Miami has been Jekyll and Hyde. They've been up and down all season long. Carson Beck, I don't know what he's doing down in South Beach. Sometimes he's good. Sometimes he's bad. He's throwing 4 or 5 picks in a game. If he plays a clean game and plays to the level that Carson Beck can play, this game is going to go back and forth. I'd favor Texas A&M because they're the home team. But let's not forget, Miami has 2 defensive ends, Mesidor and Bain. Both of them are going to be drafted probably on the first 2 days of the NFL draft next year. If they can contain Marcel Reed, they're going to put the pressure on somebody else on A&M to make a play, and then it gets really dicey for the 12th man in College Station.
I like how you have that one potentially going back and forth. Nobody has the next game I'm going to ask you about going back and forth. The 2 G5 teams, Tulane playing Ole Miss, and, of course, James Madison's Tony's favorite playing Oregon.
Yeah.
Booger, do you see a possibility for either of the G5 teams scoring an upset in those matchups?
Yeah, you know what, guy? I would love to come on here and say it's going to be an upset, but listen, I think, first of all, Oregon can name their score against James Madison. Nothing against JMU. I like Bob Chesney. He's leaving to go to L.A. to coach UCLA. He probably should have went ahead and went right now because this score is going to get ugly up in Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon. As far as Ole Miss and Tulane, I'm not saying it's going to be an upset, but here's what I am saying. I think the game is going to be a lot closer. The last time Tulane went to Oxford, Ole Miss beat them by 35 points. And you got to know that Tulane is going to come in there and they're going to be sitting up there saying, you know what? They can't do it again. John Summerall, the coach at Tulane, is now the coach at Florida. He's a very, very good football coach. I think he keeps this game close. And here's the key. This is the Ole Miss's coach Pete Golding's first game. Remember, Lane Kiffin is in Baton Rouge. He allowed the offensive coordinator to go back to Oxford and call plays. So there's a lot of back and forth and a lot of confusion maybe Ole Miss. This game is going to be close. I would still favor Ole Miss, but I think there's a chance this game could be really close in the second half.
I have to say how happy I was to hear Wilbon start talking about the G5, which a term I'm sure he heard just this morning. And that's because he's so familiar with flying on a G4 that he understands G5. We'll get you out of here on this. We have a very big game in the NFL tonight. It really is, the Rams and the Seahawks. What do you think the key will be in this one, Booger?
I think the key's going to be Sam Darnold. Remember the last time we saw Sam Darnold in one of these games where the winner is probably going to be the 1 seed, the loser is going to be the 5? He was playing for Minnesota against Detroit, and Sam Darnold wet the bed. So now we get another opportunity to see Sam Darnold in one of these games because in all likelihood, the winner of this game is going to be the number 1 seed and get the bye. The loser is going to have to go on the road to take on either Carolina or the Buccaneers. And I think if you're Sam Darnold, you got to play a clean football game. You can't go out there and see ghosts like they said you saw 4 or 5 years ago. You got to be clean because I think if you're Sam Darnold and you're Seattle with no Devontae Adams for the Rams, I think you should win this game. But it's going to be up to him to play a clean football game. They got to run the football. But I would favor Seattle in this game, especially with no Devontae Adams with the hamstring. I don't think he's going to play tonight, or at least I wouldn't play him. I'd sit him down, and he would get 10 days rest. I think Sam Darnold is the ultimate key, Tony. If he plays well, I think Seattle wins. If he sees ghosts, I'm going to favor L.A.
Booger, thanks very much, and happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, gentlemen, as always. Enjoy spending my birthday with you guys.